Addressing the nation a day after mass shooting at a Florida school, U.S. President Donald Trump called for healing and peace and asked the people to come together to wipe away the tears and strive for a much better tomorrow.
No child, no teacher should ever be in danger in an American school. No parent should ever have to fear for their sons and daughters when they kiss them goodbye in the morning. Each person who was stolen from us yesterday had a full life ahead of them, a life filled with wondrous beauty and unlimited potential and promise. Each one had dreams to pursue, love to give, and talents to share with the world. And each one had a family to whom they meant everything in the world.
As soon as you hear something like this is happening, the first thing you start thinking about the families. You know, you think about your own family. As a grandparent and a parent, the first thing you think about is, you know, God, I hope this never happens to my family. Then you think about, you're furious. How could this ever happen in this country? How could this happen in this state? This is a state that is focused on keeping all of our children safe. And you come to the conclusion this is just absolutely pure evil. This state does not tolerate violence. We have law enforcement that will always show up to defend our safety.
Mourners gathered for a candlelight vigil in Florida on Thursday after at least 17 people were killed at a Florida high school. Nicholas Cruz, who has been charged with 17 counts of premeditated murder, is accused of using legally purchased AR-15 style weapon in the attack at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, outside Miami. The U.S. Senate rejected a series of bills to protect Dreamer immigrants on Thursday, leaving in limbo the future of 1.8 million young adults brought to the United States illegally as children. The Senate failed to get the 60 votes needed to move forward on 4 separate proposals, including one backed by President Donald Trump and a bipartisan bill that had been considered the most likely to survive the deeply divided Senate. Former White House advisor Steve Bannon answered questions from Special Counsel Robert Mueller's team for 2 days this week, but then frustrated lawmakers by remaining tight-lipped during testimony to the House Intelligence Committee. Yesterday, their 3 sources familiar with the Mueller proceedings said Bannon was interviewed for a total of about 20 hours by investigators and prosecutors. One said he had answered a range of questions, unlike his refusal to do so before the House Intelligence Panel. Pakistan has asked U.S. President Donald Trump to fund 1,800-mile Pakistan-Afghan border fence aimed at ending the Afghan war and fighting terrorism. Pakistan's National Security Advisor Nasir Khan Janjua said, and I quote, "The 1,800-mile barrier being constructed will help end the prolonged agony of the Afghan war and reduce terrorism inside Pakistan. Pakistan would like the U.S. president to pay for the barrier, or at least the Afghan side." Russia has said that 5 of its citizens may have been killed by a U.S. strike in Syria. It is perhaps for the first time Russians have died in U.S. bombings during the 7-year-long Syrian civil war. South African Archbishop Emeritus Desmond Tutu has stepped down as an ambassador for Oxfam. The priest cited disappointment at the British aid agency's embroilment in a sex scandal involving staff in Haiti after a massive 2010 earthquake. Cyril Ramaphosa, the former aide of Nelson Mandela, has been sworn in as South Africa's new president. This comes after Jacob Zuma resigned after a long past struggle with members of his party, African National Congress. Ramaphosa has served as Zuma's deputy president. He's one of South Africa's richest men with a net worth is estimated at $450 million. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has said he will go to the Americas summit despite host Peru withdrawing the invitation. Maduro slammed his right-wing Latin American counterpart for showing intolerance by trying to exclude him from the summit. China State Television, the China Central Television, staged an international Spring Festival gala last night to celebrate the Lunar New Year, which falls on February 16. This year's show highlighted an international blend of performers from countries such as the United States Kingdom, Azerbaijan, Kenya, Croatia, Kazakhstan, France, Italy, Latvia, and the United States. People across China celebrated the arrival of the Year of the Dog at midnight on Friday. Millions have taken planes, buses and trains to get home so that they could spend Chinese New Year's Eve with their families. Bitcoin rose above $10,000 on Thursday for the first time in more than 2 weeks as investors bought back the digital currency after having fallen 70% from its all-time peak hit in mid-December. Bitcoin has been impacted this year by a series of negative headlines centering around increased scrutiny by global regulators. There has also been the incidence of hacks on exchanges, the latest being the theft of roughly $500 million in digital money from Tokyo-based cryptocurrency exchange CoinCheck a few weeks ago. Ethiopia's PM resigns in what he described as a bid to smooth reforms following years of violent unrest that threatened the ruling party's hold on Africa's second most populous nation. The resignation, unprecedented in Ethiopia's history, followed a wave of strikes this week in towns near the capital and demonstrations successfully demanding the release of more opposition leaders. On day 2 of his India visit today, Iranian President Hassan Rouhani will visit Hyderabad and address a congregation at the historic Mecca Masjid in the city. Rouhani is the first time that a head of state will address a Friday congregation at the historic mosque. The Iranian president is on a 3-day India visit. Hassan Rouhani and Prime Minister Narendra Modi are set to engage in bilateral talks on Saturday. This is Hassan Rouhani's first visit to India after he was elected Iran's president in 2013. The Supreme Court of India will pronounce the final verdict in Kaveri water dispute issue today. The decades-old Kaveri water dispute between rival states of Tamil Nadu and Karnataka will finally get a closure. A 3-judge bench of the Apex Court had reserved its verdict on the appeals filed by Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Kerala governments that challenged the 2007 verdict of the Kaveri Water Dispute Tribunal on sharing of water from the Kaveri River. In one of the biggest scams in India's corporate history, Indian law enforcement agencies on Thursday raided 9 properties in Delhi, Mumbai and Surat owned by billionaire jeweller Nirav Modi and his family associates. Raids were conducted at 3 places in Surat, 4 in Mumbai and 2 in Delhi. The government sources said it is possible that the billionaire diamond merchant Nirav Modi has fled the country. Earlier, the agencies had registered money laundering cases in connection with cheating of Punjab National Bank money. With Class 10 and 12 board examinations approaching, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will conduct an interactive session with students at New Delhi today. Lakhs of students from across the country are expected to participate and ask the Prime Minister about tips on taking examinations. The West Bengal state government opposed screening of PM address in schools across the state. West Bengal State Education Minister criticized the centre's move, saying there is no point indulging students in these activities during this crucial time. He claimed that the decision was taken unilaterally without consulting with state governments. China has again showed its frustration over India's northeastern state of Arunachal Pradesh. Beijing has said it will lodge a diplomatic protest with India over Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Arunachal Pradesh. Students of Jawaharlal Nehru University blocked the administration block, demanding a meeting with the Vice Chancellor on the issue of compulsory attendance. They stopped the chief proctor of the university from leaving the building. Hundreds of students picketed outside all the gates of the building and confronted and stopped senior university officials who tried to go out. A 5-story under-construction building collapsed in Bengaluru, killing at least 3 persons and injuring 7 others. Several others are fear-trapped. Those injured in the Bengaluru building collapse have been shifted to a nearby hospital, while rescue operations have been taken up on a war footing. Now let's take a look at some stories doing the rounds from the world of sports. American Michaela Schifrin has won a first gold medal of the 2018 Winter Olympics after winning the women's giant slalom. The 22-year-old's combined time of 2 minutes 20.02 seconds, that was 4/10 of a second quicker than Norway's Ragnhild Mowinckel, who took second, while Italy's Federica Brignone took bronze. Now Schifrin is eyeing a record haul of 5 goals at the Pyeongchang Games. In more action from day 6 of the 2018 Winter Games, Norwegian Axel Svindal has become the oldest alpine skiing champion ever by winning the events downhill at the age of 35. An injury-plagued build-up to the Games did not slow him down, and he skied down the course in a time of 1 minute 40.25 seconds to win the gold. The win takes Svindal's career tally to 4 Olympic medals. He will have a shot at a second gold on Friday in the Super G. Actress turned author Twinkle Khanna has said that her next venture will focus on reproduction rights of women. She said that this at a discussion organized by the UNICEF and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to discuss the taboo around menstrual hygiene on Wednesday. Twinkle had earlier produced the film Pad Man, which deals with the subject of menstrual hygiene. Girl star Lena Dunham has written an incredibly personal essay about coming to terms with permanent infertility. At age of 31, Dunham conveyed that she has known all her life that something is wrong with her uterus and has had 9 surgeries to cope with endometriosis since her diagnosis 10 years ago. She writes that she is physically recovering well, but that her mind and spirit are another story. She added that she plans to pursue adoption.